we are looking at something being concerned with our nervous system. This time, though, the special senses, because up to this point, we have looked at what we would think of as our general senses, okay? The stuff all over the skin, the stuff for touch, okay? We've looked at that wonderful autonomic nervous system. Well, now, this chapter, even though, like I said, the chapter is going to have lots and lots of information, but I have given you what I want you to know, okay? What you're going to need to know, really going in to take your test and so forth, which is, trust me, not a lot with special senses, if at all. But anyway, so now we're looking at what is going to be termed special senses. The reason they're termed special, okay? And this pretty much is in a nutshell for everybody, okay? The reason they're termed special is because of the shape of their neuron, because pretty much the way that we have looked at shapes of a neuron, we've pretty much done this number. Okay? In the special senses, for the ones we're going to look at, each one of them, their neuron is special. Okay? So therefore, it is going to only deal with that one particular sense. Okay? Whether we're talking sight, hearing, equilibrium, taste, just that one thing. All right? And then, up to this point, the way that we have looked at, and I'm trying to emphasize some stuff because it's on your test, okay? The way that we have looked at how the sensory information goes in, okay? The way the sensory information would make its way to the spinal cord, go to an integrating center, and then send out the response, okay? That is now different. Special senses, for the most part, special senses are here, okay? They are going to work by way of cranial nerves, or they have a direct pathway to the brain. So, this is why they're called special, because technically they are, okay? But the same thing applies. We have to have a receptor. We have to take it where it can be integrated. We get a response. Now, as we know, a receptor detects the stimulus. Now, in terms of the receptor, all right, these are termed or known also as a sense organ. In part 1, for example, for the skin, you should have learned that we have these accessory structures, these organs that are in the skin, like a Meissner's corpuscle, lamellar corpuscle, okay? And so they're termed a sense organ, an accessory structure. This time, for special senses, that sensory organ, for the most part, is embedded in the tissue. For example, the sense of smell, okay? With the sense of smell, those receptors are embedded here already within the tissue. So it's not something that really has the receptor out here and it has to travel, get here, go here, come back, that sort of thing. Now we are looking at structures that are literally going to be up here in the head, in the actual tissue. Does that make sense? Okay, so once again, their properties, they have to take the energy that they are picking up on, meaning the stimulus. They have to take that energy and they have to turn it into a form our body can deal with. For example, taste. Okay, taste is going to be chemical because we're going to have foodstuffs, drink stuffs, that sort of thing that we're going to be exposing our tongue to, and the cells are specialized, and that has to take a chemical energy and turn it into the taste that we can identify. All right, so it's going to take one form of energy and change it. We're going to have a receptor potential. You guys remember like an action potential? It's the same thing because we're still dealing with neurons. Neurons work on action potentials. It's going to be a very local change that occurs because of the fact it is so minimized in the area that we're dealing with. Okay, it's not a huge area of the body. And when we talk about sensations for special senses, it's subjective. Meaning, we can, I should say the body, okay? The body in any senses that we have, whether we're talking general or special, but since we're focused on special senses now, the body doesn't always have to recognize the stimulus. So for example, you get up in the morning, you take a shower, you put on your cologne or your perfume, and in the first 10 seconds, you have the smell from it, but then you don't. Okay? It's subjective. Basically, that initial reaction is pay attention, but then adapt. So it's very subjective. The way that information now, with the special senses, the way that information is going to be transmitted. All right, we're going to say we have a modality. What this is saying, what is the type of stimulus? Is it chemical or not? Is it mechanical? Is it sound? Is it light? Do you see where I'm going with this? Light for the eyes, okay? Air waves for sound, chemical for taste, smell, all right? What is that modality, okay? Where does it end? Does it end, for example, if it's light rays, that's for vision, so it's got to end in the occipital lobe, okay? If it's if it's sound waves coming in, hearing, temporal lobe, all right? So, location, where did the stimulus occur? Up to this point, and you guys did this in class, I think, on Tuesday, as you all were working on your general sense of touch, okay? Do you guys remember noticing how, like, on the back of the neck or on the shoulder or whatever it wasn't as great at picking up the little pricks as it was on your finger or your forearm, okay? That's because in the case of picking up a sensation, receptor numbers are different, meaning the number of receptive areas which create a receptive field, okay, that number can differ. You will have much more receptors in your fingers than you would on the back of your neck. What we're going to see with the special senses, like smell, for example, the number of receptors present is mind-boggling. When you look at this small area that's going to exist for picking up smell, and look at the number of receptors that can be present, what's that little thing? Okay, I think that's what they do now for it. I'm so glad. Kristen's like the only one who laughs at me. I love that. I get to look back and I get to see somebody smiling at me. And it's just like mind-boggling. So we're going to find receptive fields now are going to be different. All right? What we have pretty much been used to with the scan, and your textbook's going to go a whole lot into that. Your textbook's going to go into so much detail. And I'm like, get away from that. Okay? Just go. We're done with general senses. We need to focus on special. But your textbook goes into great detail. Now, we're not only going to see, we have a different modality. We have a different number of receptors, and the body has to take different types of energy and convert them. They have to take, for example, as I'm talking to you right now, these waves that are coming into your ears, okay, they have to take that, turn it into something chemical so that you can know what I'm saying. That's pretty cool, okay? So when we look at the information now that gets to come in, okay, we're going to find what's the intensity. Am I talking really loud? Okay? Is it bright? Is it dim? Is it sweet? Is it salty? Is it sour? All right? So we have to now determine, and the body does this, for example, when I talked really loud just a minute ago, okay, you guys probably, okay? And did you know, this is really cool about your own voice, if the structure of the ear was not like it was, your own voice would make you deaf within a few seconds. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, but that's just me, okay? Just saying. So we've got all these fibers that are going to be able to pick up the information. They're going to be able to say, woo, do I need to fire at this really fast, high rate, or do I need to dampen this information? Do I need to tamp down the amount of light I'm going to let into my eyes? Like when I walk to this side over here, because that light on that LCD right there is so strong, it literally makes my head hurt. Because the light is so strong, the receptors in my eye that are picking that up, even though it's registering as light, it's so intense. For me, it registers as pain. Do you remember how the cold water, okay? The light does that to the eyes. If you go from something kind of dark, and then you go from, like, say, a dark room into a very bright light, as your eyes try to adjust, you're doing this number because it's actual pain being perceived. For that, see, what's so cool about these? How long does that stimulus last? Like I was saying, these senses, and they are picking up on so much information, if you actually had to pay attention to it,